Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox, and I am coming to you today with a book review. I know I don't normally do book reviews. I think I've only done one, and that wasn't an actual fictional type story. I don't know why I don't do more book reviews. Actually, I do know why. Because I have a 40-hour-a-week job. I film 4 videos a week. I have 2 teenage kids, one of which has a very poppin' social calendar. You know, regular life, all those things. So yeah, I don't get much time to read as I used to. I've always loved reading though, and you guys know I fancy myself an undiscovered talent in writing. I love to write, and that's actually a first love of mine that I don't get to do as much anymore. Actually, I don't get to do much at all, but I got 2 books that I've written. Maybe I'll be inspired this year to maybe I'll be inspired this year to go on and step out on faith and, you know, publish my book. But anyway, we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about the book. Now, if you guys watch Bondy's channel, then you guys might have heard of the book already. She did a review for this very same book. Some of you may have even ordered it and read it by now. And if you have, that's good, because now we kind of have some common ground here. And like Bondy, this is a sponsored review. And yeah, it was weird when the author reached out to me and asked me, you know, would I consider doing a paid review? And I was just like, yeah, I've never really done a paid review before. And I've done hair reviews, and I've done things where people have sent me stuff. However, it's not quite the same. So I was concerned, of course, about him feeling like I would have to give it a glowing review, even if I didn't feel that way. You know, I was going to have to compromise my integrity by saying something that I didn't necessarily feel was true. And the only way that I would do it is if he understood that I was going to give, you know, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And he was with it. So I was like, okay, well then you got a deal then, okay? And none too soon, because ain't nothing like a little bit of change in your pocket. So the book review, you guys, let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys, so the name of the book that I read was called The Dog Catcher, okay? And it's by Lloyd Johnson. He's the author that contacted me, okay? That's the book. This is like a, it's a soft hardback, is I think what they call it. You know, it's the size of a hardback book, but it is a soft cover book. And I don't really want to give away the story, because if you're anything like me, you hate spoilers. I hate spoilers. So I was like, Lord, how am I going to do this review? So I'm going to just try to give you guys a brief synopsis of what the story was like for me. It is a story about a girl named Cheryl Green, okay? It spans her lifetime from about 1975 on to the beginning of the 90s, 1990, 1991 sometime. We jump in on her life story right when she's around 16 years old. She is definitely a regular 16-year-old girl that lives in, I believe, Minneapolis. Now, Cheryl is from a dysfunctional family, like many of us black people are. The full family unit is intact. However, you know, she has an extremely religious mother who is from the school of, you know, let God fix it. Maybe turns a blind eye to a lot of things that's going on in her household. Is very concerned with keeping up appearances. Cheryl also has a father who is an alcoholic. He does take care of his family. He makes sure that they have a place to live, a roof over their head, and food to eat. Okay, Cheryl's father, he hangs out at the bar when he gets off of work. He's straight to the bar. He doesn't come home until all hours of the night. And then when he gets home, he's drunk. He's giving his wife the business. Okay, there's domestic violence issues there and the sort. Cheryl also has a 7-year-old sister. And pretty much throughout the whole book, the sister is trying to figure out ways of getting out of that house. She realizes her key to getting out of the house is the fact that she is a very good drawer. She's an artist. If we can just hone the talents of this little girl, then, you know, that might be her ticket out. So that is Cheryl's family. Now, Cheryl, like I said, she's 16 years old. And she does what 16-year-olds do, okay? She's interested in boys. Maybe more so because of all of the shit that's going on in her family. So, you know, she puts a lot of her time and energy and trust into probably the wrong boys. After a series of events happen and she finds herself pregnant by this kid named Diallo, of course, her parents are not with that. She gets put out of the home. She finds solace in a lesbian, extremely butch friend of hers named Roxanne. Not Roxanne, you guys, Roxanne. And while Roxanne does give her somewhere to live, Okay, it's many other problems that goes on there. Of course, they're young. She's trying to make it. She's stripping, trying to make a living. You know, things are not working out. And again, a series of events happen and she finds herself back at home. I guess her parents realize that, okay, we gonna have to try to make this work. And even though she's there, she's determined to try to make a life of her own. I mean, granted, she has a child now. She realizes that she and her child is not her parents' responsibility, so she does what she has to do to get out on her own. Now, in the doing of what she has to do, she comes across a gentleman named Ples Jackson. Again, I'm not going to give away the story, but Ples Jackson is the beginning of a very downward spiral of Cheryl's life. At the beginning of their relationship, you think that it's all good, and then slowly but surely you get to see Ples for what he is, and her life begins to deteriorate more and more. There's domestic violence issues, there is mental illness issues, there are control issues. Cheryl suffers from self-confidence issues, fear. I mean, there's all these elements in the books that make up this story, and Cheryl is the brunt of all of it. However, she's a strong girl. I think she's stronger than she realizes for most of the book, and through all of the shit that she faces, you start to wonder, like, damn, is she even going to, you know, be able to see the brighter side in her life? Or is this just the life that, you know, when God was passing out lives, this is the life that she got? Okay. I felt like it was a very accurate portrayal of a girl who knew right from wrong because of the foundation that was laid, you know, as she was raised by both of her parents. But it also shows how the things that we're exposed to as children and the things that we see bear quite a bit of weight in the decisions that we make as adults. That's a good and bad thing because, for instance, my mom and my dad, they raised me and my two brothers and also my mom's youngest brother and sister, and I think they did a great job. There are things that I saw my mom and dad do for us that I 100% was like, oh my God, when I become a parent, those are the things that I want to do. And then, of course, there's things that I saw that my parents did that, you know, I had made a decision as a child that when I got grown, honey, I wasn't doing that. And then you go through your life and you're living your life and you're doing whatever it is that you do. And then you get to this pivotal part in your life and you look back and you like, well, I'll be damned. I am my mother. The things that I loved about my mom, I have picked up, and the things that I didn't necessarily like about my mom, I also have picked up. It's very, very interesting when you realize that, yeah, things have a way of, history has a way of repeating itself. And that's what I got pretty much from this story, okay? In an effort for Cheryl to, you know, make changes in her life and not be the things that she was disappointed in her mother in being, she found herself doing the exact same thing. I think it also explained in the book that as a child, you know, we see faults and flaws in our parent that we don't really understand, and we're pretty unforgiving. And then as we get older and we see these things for ourselves and we experience these things for ourselves, we realize that, okay, yeah, it's not really that cut and dried. The good thing about the book is you see things from a child's perspective and then you see it from an adult's perspective because of the lifespan of the book. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And like I said, there's domestic violence in the book and there's mental control in the book, and quite a bit of it. These are the things that I found frustrating in the book because, like, you know, I wasn't exposed to that. That didn't happen in my household. So when I was reading the story, I was just like, oh my God, why is she still putting up with this? Why is she going through it? She saw her mom get, you know, go through it, and why won't she leave? I mean, she is a beautiful woman. She is successful in her career. I mean, they're not rich, but, you know, she is a, you know, they're a middle class, struggling middle class family, and she is putting herself, I felt like the drama that she was putting herself through was just, I could not relate. So I was getting frustrated and upset with her. And so then it made me try to understand that of the battered wife and the battered spouse syndrome, and, you know, just the mentality of a person that goes through that. So this book was really, really good in getting me to understand why it is, how it's so ingrained, sometimes generation to generation, putting up with that kind of treatment. I feel like Lloyd did a really good job of, you know, us getting into the psyche of Cheryl and, you know, her justification of her fucked up ass husband, you know, how the husband really just messed up her head. The husband also deals with mental illness issues. It was only kind of dabbled on a little bit in the book, and I, you know, I was like, man, I wish that kind of went a little bit further, but it was so much other stuff going on in the story. I understand why they, you know, why he didn't. But mental illness is real, and when it's found and when it's unchecked, you find yourself in a situation like Cheryl when she has a husband who is just out of control and just fucking her up, and you know, so it definitely touches on all these things, and the book quickly became a page turner, you know, if only because I wanted to see if she was going to ever get herself out of this mess. I mean, I started it on Sunday around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was done by Monday around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and really I could have finished it in one day. By about 5, 6 o'clock, my family was trying to figure out just why was it that I was so engrossed in this book. And so I did set my book down. But yeah, I finished it in a day. It's a 403 pages. So, you know, a pretty substantial sized book, but like I mean, it was easy reading. It was easy reading, and it pulled me in definitely, even when I wasn't sure if it would, and I'll tell you why. When Lloyd Johnson contacted me and asked me if I would be interested in reading his book called The Dog Catcher, I just, you know, I slightly rolled my eyes. I have read my share of urban life stories, okay? I read the Eric Jerome Dickeys, I read the Elin Harrises, the B.B. Moore Campbells, the, you know, the Carl Weber, the Terry McMillan. I read all those books of yesteryear, okay, when I was in my 20s, 30s, okay? As a 44-year-old woman, it is not really a book that I'm interested in reading at the time about a girl who is dating, you know, man after man, and she finds that, you know, each man is a dog, and then that man is a dog, and, you know, like, that wasn't a story that was interesting to me. So when he said The Dog Catcher, I was just like, oh my God, is it gonna be one of those type of books? And then I got the book in the mail. Now look at the cover, okay? And the cover work is nice, okay, but I didn't feel, to me, that it connected with the actual story that was inside the book. Okay, when you look at this book, like Bondy said, it kind of gives you almost erotica. It's a black man, okay, he has you know, a dog leash, dog collar on, and, you know, her, and yeah, I kind of got a lusty type feel from the book. So when I started reading the book and I got the story, I mean, does the story match up with the book to you guys? It didn't match to me. And so that was my only con when I talked to Lloyd. I said, Lloyd, I'm gonna tell you what, I love the book. I thought you did a great job. I wish that the name was different, and I wish that the artwork was different. And he said, yeah, he's had some people tell him that. He kind of thought that it worked in his favor a little bit, because it also means that, you know, you weren't really expecting, and then when you read the book, you were really impressed, which is what exactly happened to me. But when I put on my marketing hat, okay, and I think that if, you know, if his book is laying on a table in a bookstore, I've bought plenty of books just walking by and looking at them. This wouldn't have given me a portrayal of someone who is fighting for her life and her children's life, okay, under the thumb of a, you know, almost a sadistic ass husband. That was my only con. I mean, and that's not really a big deal, because we talking about the meat of the book, right? You want to read what's inside it. But that was the only thing that I was just like, yeah, Lord, I don't know. Next time, maybe you can change the book cover and everything. But other than that, you guys, I think Lloyd Johnson did a very good job. I think it is a book worth reading. I was pleasantly surprised, because even though it's not a big publishing company, I don't know if this is considered a self-published book or if this is just a small publishing company. But yeah, I've read some shit in the past, okay? And no, it's definitely a well-edited, put together, it's a very good book, it's a very gripping story, and it's convincing, and I think that it's definitely worth reading. So if you're looking for a book to read, you guys go on and pick it up. So Lloyd, he tells me that there's few outlets that you're able to purchase his book. I will put his website on the screen here, lloydljohnson.net. Make sure you have that L in there, or you won't get to the right website, lloydljohnson.net. And on his website, he has links to Amazon, Barnes & Noble. It's available in the Kindle, Barnes & Noble Nook version. It's also available in the iPad Apple version. Is that what it's called? Yeah, for Apple iBooks. Thank you so much to Lloyd for reaching out and giving me the opportunity to read and review your book. Thanks to all my rock stars for just sitting and chilling with me and chatting. If you're interested in the book, you guys going to pick up the dog catcher, okay? I'm going to get off of here. Get on back to work. All right? All right. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.